Hello, this is a little mini update. I've been working on a little project this past week. I already got my Proline Power Stroke XTs in the back here for the dual shocks with their little fake reservoirs. Those feel really nice. Damping's really smooth. I actually used a set of slash rears and fronts for the dual springs on the back here, and it feels good. You know, the spring rate actually feels pretty nice. It's green on top, red on the bottom. It's definitely different than the stock spring rate, but the dampening feels a lot slower. Definitely at the start of the travel, which is what I want. I want it to be really soft at the start of the travel, so you don't get the springiness in the back when you're just landing or just taking off a jump, especially. That gets really annoying. It'll flip you over, get you nose first off the other side of the jump. You know, it's awful. But with that, it actually seemed to work pretty good. So, but anyway, the front here, I actually got dual shocks working in the front as well. This took a little bit of MacGyvering. It seems to hold up fine, actually. I was surprised the way Losi built this. It didn't require too much work. So basically, right here, these zap straps, they haven't actually been stressed at all. The bolt and the way I built this seems to be holding on fine. But this is actually a solid black block of HDP, which was CNC machined. All the custom parts I do on this truck are done on the CNC machine or handcrafted. This is actually done on a CNC machine using the shape of the stock tower, so it actually kind of slides over the stock tower on the top there and clips on, and then there's a couple of countersink bolts that run through here and go right into the stem of the stock tower, and it holds very strong. And from there's a couple of through bolts on either side. I needed to do a tower extension to get this to work, so they're definitely standing up more than they were originally. This will give you more linear dampening, usually, as opposed to having them more laid down, which will give you more progressive dampening. I already got progressive springs, so hey. So I got the Power Strokes actually over here. These are going to be the dedicated dampeners now on this truck. There's just a really long bolt going right back here, and there's the nut on the back securing everything together. And that actually goes into a modified A-arm now. So the A-arm is actually modified with this gap right here. I just cut basically a hole in the stock A-arm, and then I made this brace. It kind of folds like a taco and then folds right over top, and then it clamps around the upper A-arm, and then you just run these bolts through, and it'll actually, I just had to drill a couple holes in the stock A-arm too, and it'll just give it the extra rigidity it needs to not feel floppy with that hole now there. And it does, it feels good. It's not overly flexy at all. It feels nice. It should hold up fine. The stock arms actually come pretty flexible already. If you've ever actually bothered to touch them, they're very flimsy. Not like snapping flimsy, but just flexible. And then the bottom, the A-arms here, I'll flip this over. And get a good light here. You can kind of see here that I actually modified the bottom arms too. These, if you've ever checked these on this truck, this is actually a two-piece lower A-arm design. So this main A-arm piece is actually, on the inside, it's actually webbed. It's not quite a solid chunk of plastic. It's actually webbed on the inside. And then there's a top layer that you fasten on with 3 countersink bolts. And basically what I did was I filled in the webbing with some, basically the epoxy glue we had at work to kind of give it some rigidity. And then I drilled out this area and then kind of opened it up more with a Dremel. And then I was able to run a through bolt all the way through here. So the bottom eyelet of the Power Stroke shock is now directly in line with the bottom eyelet of the stock shock on the front here, where the springs are on. And it lines up pretty well. There's already the through hole going through here on the inside. The gap that you need between these two bottom eyelets are about the same as, actually, to my astonishment, actually about the same as the gap that's already there from the slot that the bolt actually goes through stock. So I just had to drill out the thin plastic on that side and then drum out the rest of it, right until I hit the part where the bolt fastens through, and there was enough gap to actually get these two to cooperate, so that when you actually are moving the steering back and forth, it's not bumping the shock. Even at compression, it's not bumping the shock at all. During driving, I mean, the truck's flexing around a bit. If you're smacking into stuff, maybe it'll bump into it, but as it is, everything clears fine. It's beautiful. I like it. I'm just happy I managed to get that done. I wasn't sure if it would actually be possible, but much to my pleasant surprise, as I have been with this truck so far, getting this going was not too overly difficult. This required, like, this isn't something I would probably sell to somebody. It requires a bit too much handicrafting to really be worth it in that regard. But I mean, if you really, really want to try this, shoot me a PM. I'll think about it. I can maybe send you a set of just the parts you need and a basic idea of what you will need to do. You need a Dremel, you need patience, you need a good hand to get this working, because if you screw it up, you're going to have to be buying a new shock tower or new A-arms or new lowers, new uppers, because suddenly things will be falling apart and your geometry is going to be totally off and it's going to be awful. But as I have it set right now, it actually feels pretty good. The dampening feels good. Yeah, it's got the little stoppers down there keeping it from bottoming out. Thank you, Losi. Those are very nice. Yeah, I got slash rear yellows and greens on here right now. These upper springs aren't really doing anything at the moment. That'd be nice though. But just with the body and all the stuff I got going on the truck right now, and this tentacle monster of doom for all the electronics and accessories and the drivers, servos, and everything, it weighs quite a bit now. I should really put this on scale and check it, but oh well.